Healthy habit number 5 of 16 is to consume a high quality protein source with each meal. Protein is vital for our human survival and also for optimal health and performance. So let's start off by listing the top 10 vital physiological functions that require protein. Last, let's discuss protein intake in various diets. Different diets emphasize varying amounts of macronutrients, including protein. Understanding how protein intake can be optimized within specific dietary frameworks is essential to maintain muscle mass, support recovery, and ensure overall health. Let's discuss the role of protein in various popular diets, including low carb, ketogenic, plant based, and omnivorous diets, and provide insights into how each approach influences protein consumption. First, let's discuss protein during a low carbohydrate diet. Low carbohydrate diets, such as the Carnivore, Paleo, and Atkins diet, prioritize reducing carbohydrate intake while often increasing the consumption of proteins and fats. In this dietary approach, protein plays a critical role in several key areas. First, protein contributes to satiety. Reducing carbohydrates can lead to cravings and hunger, particularly during the initial phase of carbohydrate restriction. Protein is highly satiating, meaning it helps you feel full for longer periods, which is particularly useful when transitioning to a low carb diet. High protein foods help stabilize blood sugar levels by slowing the digestion of carbohydrates, reducing insulin spikes, and curbing hunger. Protein also helps to preserve lean muscle mass in low carb diets. Low carbohydrate diets often lead to a state of ketosis or fat adaptation, where the body shifts from using glucose as its primary fuel source to relying on ketones. During this metabolic shift, protein intake is essential to ensure that the body does not break down muscle tissue for energy. In the absence of sufficient carbohydrates, the body is more prone to utilizing protein through gluconeogenesis to create glucose for the brain and other tissues, so ensuring adequate protein intake can help protect muscle mass. In a low carb diet, protein intake should be generally within the range of zero point 0.8 to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, depending on activity level and specific goals. Higher protein intake may be necessary for those who engage in resistance training or strenuous exercise, as maintaining muscle mass is a key concern in this type of diet. Second, let's discuss protein during a ketogenic diet. The ketogenic diet or keto diet is a high fat, low carbohydrate diet designed to induce a state of ketosis where the body shifts to burning fat for fuel instead of carbohydrates. Unlike low carb diets, where protein intake can be relatively high, the ketogenic diet requires a more moderate protein intake. Consuming too much protein on a keto diet can interfere with ketosis, as excess protein can be converted into glucose through gluconeogenesis, which can knock the body out of its fat burning state. The primary goal of the ketogenic diet is to maintain ketosis by keeping carbohydrates intake extremely low, generally less than 5 to 10% of total calories, and protein intake moderate. Protein typically makes up about 15 to 25% of total caloric intake on the ketogenic diet, which translates to roughly 0.6 to 1 grams of protein per pound of body weight, depending on individual goals, lean body mass, and activity level. Despite the moderate protein intake, it is still essential to consume high quality protein sources to preserve muscle mass and support recovery. The ketogenic diet's emphasis on fat as the primary fuel source means protein intake must be carefully balanced to avoid disrupting ketosis. Common sources of protein on a keto diet include fatty cuts of meat, eggs, fish, and full fat dairy products, which provide both protein and fat. For athletes or individuals engaging in high intensity exercise, the targeted ketogenic diet or TKD or the cyclical ketogenic diet or CKD may be more appropriate. These versions of keto allow for slightly higher carbohydrate intake around workouts, helping support performance without compromising ketosis. Third, let's discuss protein during a plant based diet. Plant based diets, which include vegetarian and vegan diets, emphasize foods derived from plants such as vegetables, fruits, legumes, grains, and seeds. One of the main concerns with plant based diets is ensuring adequate protein intake, particularly complete proteins, which contain all the essential amino acids necessary for muscle repair, immune function, and other vital processes. Many plant based protein sources are incomplete proteins, meaning they lack one or more essential amino acids. However, by combining different plant foods such as rice and beans, it is possible to create a complete amino acid profile. This process, known as protein combining or protein complementation, ensures that the body receives all the amino acids it needs. For example, legumes are rich in the amino acid lysine but low in methionine, while grains are rich in methionine but low in lysine. By consuming a variety of plant-based foods throughout the day, individuals on a plant-based diet can achieve adequate protein intake. Soy, quinoa, buckwheat, and hemp are examples of plant based sources that provide complete proteins, although they do have a lower bioavailability than animal based protein sources, and there has been much debate on the negative health implications related to soy consumption. Protein requirements on a plant based diet are therefore often slightly higher than those on an omnivorous diet because the plant based proteins are generally less bioavailable than animal proteins. A typical range for protein intake on a plant based diet is 1 to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, depending on activity level, muscle building goals, and individual metabolism. Vegan athletes and those engaging in resistance training should focus on the high protein plant foods such as quinoa, buckwheat, kasha, amaranth, and millet, and plant based protein powders such as pea protein or rice protein to ensure adequate intake for muscle repair and growth. Last, let's discuss protein when following an omnivorous diet. An omnivorous diet incorporates a wide variety of the macronutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. In an omnivorous diet, protein intake typically ranges from 10 to 30% of total caloric intake, depending on individual goals and activity levels. This equates to roughly 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight, which is adequate for most people to meet their daily requirements for muscle maintenance, immune function, and cellular repair. The key advantage of an omnivorous diet is its flexibility. Unlike restrictive diets that emphasize one macronutrient over another, an omnivorous diet allows for protein to come from a variety of sources, including both plant and animal foods. This flexibility makes it easier to meet your daily protein requirements without over reliance on any one source. For individuals focused on muscle building or performance, an omnivorous diet provides the freedom to time protein intake around the workouts to maximize muscle protein synthesis while still being able to consume carbohydrates, which can be psychologically beneficial. High quality protein sources like lean meats, eggs, dairy, and fish, as well as plant based sources such as legumes and whole grains, are readily available in an omnivorous diet, providing a complete profile of essential amino acids. Each of these different diets approach protein intake in a unique way, and it's important to adjust protein consumption based on the specific dietary framework. Whether following a low carb, ketogenic, plant based, or omnivorous diet, ensuring adequate protein intake is essential for muscle maintenance, recovery, and overall health. By understanding how protein functions within each of these dietary contexts, individuals can optimize their nutrition to meet their goals while supporting long term wellness. That was just a tiny taste of what can be found in my members only section. If you enjoyed it, become a member for only $5 a month to get access to hundreds of member only videos.